Well, good morning, everyone. Let's see here. I think we've got, looks like we're live everywhere. Let's see if we can find the gentlemen who accompany me on this journey.
Good morning.
Well, good morning, Alex.
How are you, Mr. Shalhoub?
Well, I am pretty darn well. It has been a busy morning. How are you?
I am wonderful. Just trying to, get my patriotic screen going here.
Oh, okay. Take your time. No rush. We got plenty to talk about today.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
Wow, right? Jeez. There is so much going on. Let me say good morning to some people here. All righty. Hey, Tanya Moonsheimer is here. Good morning, Joy. Good morning, Christy B. Good morning, Chris Romano. Mrs. Deadpool is here. Good morning. David B. 1392. Carrie is here. Wendy is here. Good morning, King's Girl 1974. JP Metal Slayer is here. Tim Shaw, Dana Mackey, Tire Man, PJ Party. Good morning, Peggy. And the one, the only, John Gwynn is here as well. Tracy Fagan's here. Hey, Tracy. Mark Matson is here from Arizona. Good morning, Lee.
Grand Rising, how are you?
Well, doing pretty darn well. You might have to pinch me. It's doing well.
It's a good day.
Morning, Dave.
Morning, guys. How's everybody doing?
Well, we're just getting warmed up here. Good morning, Adam.
Good morning, everybody. How we doing?
Good. James, how are you?
Good morning, sir. Doing well.
Glad to hear it. I hope everyone had a wonderful weekend.
Absolutely.
Doesn't look like anybody's in jail, so that's good.
That's good.
Exactly. Anything earth-shattering happen for anybody over the weekend? Nope.
Just a birthday party.
Mowing, weed eating, and welding.
Mowing, weeding, and welding. Wow. What a combo.
James must have had a good birthday. He didn't end up in jail, so it must have been a good night at the casino.
Exactly.
I actually didn't make it to the casino.
Oh, wow. I'm sorry.
All righty. Let's see here. Wendy said she's playing in the mud over there. It's finally stopped raining. Jeffrey's here. Donna Fox is here. Good morning, all. Glad everyone can make it. And Lisa Maria. Good morning, Lisa. Our stalwart in our mods. All righty. So, Alex,
Sir.
I guess it's time to buckle up, man. What do we got going this morning?
Well, I'm going to start with crypto because everything is up, and up. Earlier this morning, XRP actually took over the third position with market cap.
Wow.
Tether has edged it back out, but Bitcoin sitting at 102,707, Ethereum sitting at 2,498, XRP sitting at 253 with a high of about 260 this morning. But looks like with crypto is responding well to things going on around the world. Oil crude price is sitting at 63.05 a barrel. Indices, S&P 500 up 136, Dow up 878, NASDAQ up 622 points.
Wow.
Gold is down, obviously. Everything else goes up. Gold comes down a little bit, but we're down $98 to $3,245, which is still $1,000 higher than it was a year ago.
Right, exactly. What about crude oil?
It was $63 a barrel.
63. Oh, went up a little bit. Interesting. All right, Dave. Go ahead, Alex.
Nope, you're good. We're good.
All right, Dave. Let's say, we've got Share Baby 29 just showed up. Good morning, Share Baby. Let's see here. We have Sue is here. Trump is magnificent. I like that, Sue. Good job. All right. Let's see. SF Trash Panda 79 is here as well. Dave, what do we got going on the agriculture and farming front?
We're waiting on the progress of planning coming out. It is not out yet this morning.
Hey, wait a minute here. What's going on with your head? You don't have a hat on today.
I know.
You actually have hair. What do you know?
I do.
Who'd have thunk it? Sorry about that.
Too, if you look real close.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, all good. Excited about the EU and China deals, obviously, for farming. The U.S. and China U.S. to China imports are dropping from 45% to 30%, and China to U.S. 25 to 10. That's going to be huge for soybeans, corn, everything, because China's the leader in all our imports for our agricultural stuff. So it's gonna be big. It's gonna be big. Corn's up 1 to 2 cents today. Beans are up 7 to 10. So
wow,
it's gonna be a fun ride.
Yeah, it sure sounds like it. There's a lot happening right now. We've got, well, we'll get all into it here in a minute, but boy, there's a lot going on. Lee, what do you have for us this morning?
So we have a full moon in Scorpio. So the impact for the fixed signs are going to be Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. So you guys should feel that energy a lot more, but it's about secrets. Secrets are coming out. Transformation. This is a floral moon. So if you've noticed the last couple days, the moon has been beautiful. It's been lighting up the sky. I live down here in Florida, so we haven't had a lot of like cloud coverage and that kind of stuff. We did have a storm the other day, but I feel like it pushed everything out. But if you have placements in Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, or Aquarius, you guys are going to feel this more so than anybody else.
Wow. Excellent. Thank you, Lee. All right. We have Traveler is here. Good morning, Traveler. Martin's WB is here. 03 USMC is here. Good morning, Sarge. We have Ghost is here. And oh my goodness, the chat is just flying by. All righty, so let's see. Adam, what do we have? Any perp walks? Any additional perp walks?
Well, the only thing we've got so far that I've seen is actually, I'm sure we touched on it or saw it over the weekend, was the New Jersey mayor harboring some ICE targets. And they're going, oh, we're going to fight this in court. I'm like, all right, let's see how that works out for you.
Exactly.
And, apparently there's fake pizza orders that are still continuing, and judges are seeing these as threats. So, we got some, I don't know if this is going to be one of those bouncing balls that we need to follow instead of watch what's really going on over here, but somebody's getting a little nervous.
Yep, sounds like it.
Adam, wasn't there, I think it's the Secretary of State, Mark Rubio, one of his personal head secretaries was arrested?
I haven't seen that yet.
Yes, good look.
Ooh, nice.
Ooh, I like that one, Lee.
Break out the chrome bracelets.
Uh-oh.
Good. All right, James. Franny Dragonfly. Thank you for all the gifts, Franny. And Hokey Gigi's here as well. James, what do we have in terms of military movement?
So we're going to talk about a little bit of military spending. Lockheed Martin was awarded $742.2 million in a new high mobility artillery rocket system. Altec Engineering from Minnesota was allotted a $11.05 million contract for replacing hydraulic systems. And Silver Oak Leaf out of Georgia was given a $50 million contract for cold weather parkas.
For what?
Cold weather parkas.
Get out of here. $50 million.
50 mil for a bunch of jackets. Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
Hell of a market.
Kind of reminds me of the golden toilet seats, right? Jeez.
Well, the other big one I think you probably want me to reserve for is the new Air Force One that was gifted to us from Qatar.
Yeah, we're going to dig into that one in a little bit.
I'll wait on that one.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that one's going to be, that's interesting. All right, well, let's jump into what we've got going here today. We have President Trump signing an executive order to unleash commercial fishing in the Atlantic, advancing the America First fishing policy. Now, this one came out of the blue for me. I hadn't been following it, and then all of a sudden it pops up. What do you make of that, Alex?
Well, I think he's taken a look at all industries and where the regulations and the chokeholds are, and he's putting the prosperity in every possible place that he can. I mean, I personally would like cheaper crab legs on it.
Yeah, exactly. Dave, what do you think?
Well, it's one of those deals like Alex said. It's we're pewing ourselves in our own foot, and it's hurting ourselves with so much red tape. So you get rid of that red tape and let us run, and it's kind of like farming. They suppress you on waterways, stuff like that, so much that it hurts you. It represses you, and it's time to change.
Right, exactly. Well, James, you are a fisherman, and you have a project that you're about to launch down there in Florida. What do you make of all this?
Well, Alex touched on it lightly. It's they're restoring fairness to an industry that's disadvantaged by overregulation and unfair foreign competition. You're talking about a fishing ground that's 4,913 square miles, and they've been restricted for years. The Obama administration placed it in. They kind of backed off, and then the Biden administration put it back together, and then they took it apart, and now President Trump says enough of that. Let's let these boys fish. Dave Marciano, fish on.
You know, Lee, with all of this happening, all these changes, these radical moves that President Trump is making, can you align that with something in terms of astrology? Is this part of that retrograde, or what's it called, retrograde?
The retrograde is going to bring stuff back, and that's typically like a test to you. And sorry, I'm getting blown up over here. It's just bringing old stuff back to you. But as far as this alignment and the numerology and everything else that goes with it, there was an executive order 13818 that says blocking the property of persons including involved. Sorry, let me start over. Blocking the property of persons involved in serious human rights abuse or corruption. So even the executive orders, the numbers that they put, I add everything together and then it comes out to a like an energy frequency. So I think so. I totally think so. But that's kind of woo-woo though. So
Yeah, no, I get it. And it's funny that you bring up that particular executive order, because I had someone comment on one of my videos this morning asking about how can President Trump make these sweeping changes in the pharmaceutical industry, and I referred him back to 13818 and 13848. I think that the Patriots have much more control than people realize based on human rights abuse, human trafficking, and other things that I think the Patriots have a very firm grasp on at this point.
It's Operation Eagle, Operation Sovereign Sword. So anything the word sovereign in it, my ears perk up. And then Operation Iron Judgment.
That was that video you sent me this weekend, right? You sent to us? Yeah, that was very interesting. Very interesting. Hey, Mama Soprano's here and Donna Fox. Good morning, ladies. Glad you can make it. Hey, Ronnie's in the chat. Hey, Ronnie. He's pretending to be a troll. All right.
Don't block Ronnie.
Don't block Ronnie. He's a friend. Benji 1959. Thank you for the gifts. All right, so let's move on. We have David Steiner, a member of the FedEx board of directors, has been appointed as the next Postmaster General and CEO of the U.S. Postal Service. Yeah, I'm clapping too, Lee. I think it's really interesting. You have another solid businessman moving into a government agency to help out. Adam, what are your thoughts?
Well, we've seen that old joke that's been circulating for the last 30 years. Apparently, the merger between UPS and FedEx did not result in Fed Up.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but in all seriousness, no. The fact that if you look at how FedEx is run versus how the post office is run, they've got to get that to where it's profitable. I mean, the post office is obviously something that's very critical to our foundation. So, all I can say is applause, like you, Lee.
Right, James.
Hey, I know I have problems with putting postage on envelopes and stuff.
For all of you that don't know what that joke is about, James, out of the goodness of his heart, sent all of us these little, I don't even know what you call them, medals, for lack of a better term, that were XRP, stamped with XRP. There it is. And we're all waiting for it, and James keeps texting us all, hey, did you guys get your package? You get your package? And none of us, we're like, no, we didn't get them. Well, it turns out James forgot to put postage on the packages. So that's the background on that joke. Go ahead, James.
Steiner obviously has taken taken something in a business and gone leaps and bounds around the competition, and to be in competition with UPS is a huge thing. But the undertaking for the United Postal Service is unbelievable. They're in the red, or excuse me, they're in the red. They've been in the red for, I don't know, decades, and the poor service that they've been giving, government cutbacks. There's a lot of contributing factors, and I don't know what he's going to ask for a budget, but that's going to be my interesting point that I focus on, is to watch and see what he actually does.
Right.
It's going to cost way more than they're charging for an envelope, and we thought that email was going to take a huge impact on the U.S. Postal Service, and it may have.
Right. I'm sure it has, but it's Alex. What do you think? Alex has got his little noisemaker today. Oh, where's mine at? I might have to pull mine out too.
Oh my gosh.
Everybody's no, don't do that. Don't do that.
We're gonna all have to have soundboards here before too long.
A businessman coming in to fix the business side of things.
The post office is a bank. Think about Little House on the Prairie. You have a whole ass trust fund. Sorry. You have a trust fund there at the post office. And it's Form 25 if you look it up. And postage is actually free within the United States. So
Will you type that in the chat? What form?
it's Form 25. Hold on, I will.
Yeah. So again, everybody, if you want to understand more about sovereignty, I would highly encourage you to go and follow Lee. She is an expert on this. She is very well versed. She is the top of her game when it comes to that. And in fact, you should be following everyone: Alex, Mega Dave, Lee, Dark Horse, and Interstate Inmate. Follow us all, because we have a lot of good things that we put out on a regular basis. June 20.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I think that's why the other one stepped down. Like, he was so much into the corruption that they had to get rid of him too. Remember, we're draining the swamp.
Well, how many billions of dollars has the Postal Service lost every year for the last however many decades?
$9 billion last year, $3.3 billion for the second quarter of 2025.
Wow.
And you still didn't get your envelope on time, did you?
I think that was operator error, though, James, if I'm not mistaken.
I agree.
And when you guys look up this form, write Form 25 and then just write post office next to it, because it'll pull up like other forms, and you just want to make sure that you have the correct one.
Excellent. Thank you, Lee. June 2024, thank you for all the gifts. And Lisa Maria, you're so sweet. Thank you. Excuse me. Oh, we're just getting heckled by Ronnie in the chat today. I love it. All right. So let's move on. Zero Hedge. Arizona becomes the second state to establish a strategic Bitcoin reserve. Adam, what do you make of it?
I'm thinking that they're setting up for another couple of states as well, because if you look at the reciprocal agreement between Arizona and Texas and Nevada on their gold reserves and banking, I think you're going to see the same thing with those states to follow very shortly.
Yeah, and I think there's 17 or 18 states that are considering it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we covered that the other day.
What's that, James?
Yeah.
We covered that the other day, and I believe 17 is the correct number.
Yeah, I love that number.
Yeah.
Exactly. I saw that air cue, Lee. I like that. That was good. Slick. Just put it in under the radar. Alex, what are your thoughts? Are you thinking we're going to be seeing more of these strategic Bitcoin reserves popping up around the country?
I mean, it made headline news that, almost 100. Somebody else is accepting Bitcoin.
Oh,
and
right.
Then the next company is going to accept Bitcoin. And then the next company is going to, there's already companies accepting Bitcoin. Now the states are looking at Bitcoin. Now the countries are looking at Bitcoin. Get on the bandwagon, folks.
Well, you know what, Alex? Why don't you go ahead and tell people about that that other company?
Well, you had it in the Daily Dispatch. The Steak and Shake is now. I mean, they're a huge chain. I mean, it's like Starbucks was one of the first, right? You can buy a cup of coffee with Bitcoin.
Do they still do that?
Yes. If
Oh.
you're not into Bitcoin, ladies and gentlemen, you don't understand it, but you want to get your toes wet, you need to contact Sam at samshalhoub.com and book an appointment, and he'll teach you his method for getting in, storing, keeping, investing, not financial advice. Buy it on the TikTok shop, ladies and gentlemen.
Exactly. Right.
Can I buy XRP on the TikTok shop?
Yeah, I think so. I think you can now. But yeah, and Alex, to further that point, they're talking, they have 100 million customers with Steak and Shake. That's a big number. And if they're accepting Bitcoin now, I mean, I don't understand. I know that the process or the transaction rate is slower with Bitcoin, but don't they have something now called a Lightning Network that somehow interplays with Bitcoin to make the transactions faster?
I think as technology advances, we're going to see multiple ways that multiple cryptos play a significant role in financial transactions. So as far as Bitcoin goes and the speed at which transactions are authenticated to the ledger, yes, it is the first, it is the granddaddy, and it is a little slower. But again, if you don't know how to get in, contact Sam, and they'll help you get squared away.
I'm a little slow on Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, a whole Bitcoin is 100,000.
102,000 as high as 104.
And I go to Steak and Shake and order my lunch. How does that come off my Bitcoin?
Okay, so
It's the same way that it does $1, right?
Okay.
You've got $100 in your bank account. You don't have to pay $100 to have 100. It's fractional, right? So I don't have to buy one whole Bitcoin. If I put $100 into Bitcoin, whatever the current price is, then I get a percentage of that Bitcoin. But for example, Coinbase. I have where's my wallet? I have a Coinbase card. So whatever my balance is with the exchange that I happen to choose, wherever you decide to keep your it's Bitcoin wallet. It's a Bitcoin card. So you just swipe your card. It's not any different than it is with your bank. You have currency on a ledger at the bank. You have currency on a ledger at whatever institution you choose to keep your crypto.
and to give more clarity to that, Dave, one Bitcoin is equal to 100 million Satoshis, is what they call them. So it's like there's 100 pennies in a dollar. There's 100 million Satoshi. Right. Exactly. That's why you can buy $10 or $20.
And that's how you purchase it. So that's the biggest thing. People say, well, I can't afford $100,000 Bitcoin.
Right.
You're not buying
That's
a
the
full
biggest-
coin.
Yeah, that's
You're
the
buying the
biggest
hash.
thing. So you put $5 in it, you buy this many, whatever it is.
Satoshis. Yep.
Okay.
That's exactly right.
And that's the biggest issue. That's the biggest issue for people that don't want to invest in Bitcoin. It's like, well, I'm going to come up with 100,000.
If you put $100 into Bitcoin in 2013, when it was $100 for a whole Bitcoin, you would have 104,000 Bitcoin dollars today.
So
Right.
is it like shares, like stocks and bonds? It's like shares.
It's more like, I wouldn't say shares. I would say it's more like a monetary denomination.
Like pennies, nickels, and quarters.
Yeah.
Right?
$1, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
4 quarters. If I
It's
have a
like
Bitcoin-
exchanging for regular any other kind of currency, if you will. If you look at it from that standpoint, I mean, you can look at on certain tokens, which we can get deeper into that. But you could look at it like that. But really, a simpler way to look at it is exchanging currency for currency. You go and exchange, whether it be the Russian ruble, whether it be the euro, whether it be whatever. There's going to be an exchange rate.
Right. Exactly.
And I figured that's how it worked. I was just wanted to hear from you guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
And
My
just so
sister-
you know, the garlic butter burger is the best thing Steak and Shake.
French fries. Their French fries are good.
They are.
Missouri just announced that legal tender is going to be gold and silver. So that's exciting. Yeah.
Didn't Texas do that as well?
I'm not
Texas,
sure. if
Utah, there's several states.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's all happening at light speed, really. Jan, thank you for all the gifts. It's appreciated. What was that?
Just a golf clap.
Alex.
Oh, golf clap. Got it. Oh, it's Alex's little sound machine. All right. Well, you know what? There we go. Exactly. Uh-oh. Is it broken? Oh, no. Okay. All right. All right. So Dory said, what if Bitcoin drops from where you bought it? Well, again, you have to look at it at a longer, from a longer perspective, a 40,000 foot view. Is it going to be volatile? Yes. Is it going to go up and down? Yes. But when I started buying Bitcoin, which was years ago, it was at $20,000. So although it's gone up to 25 and then down to 22 and then back up to 30 and then back, the progression is a constant climb up. Now, this isn't financial advice. This has just been my experience, but that's normal for a new form of currency or a new technology. Go ahead, Alex.
It's the same thing as buying gold. You know, if you bought gold back in 2000 at, you know, $300 an ounce, 25 years later, it's $3,000 an ounce. You know, if it went backwards, yeah, you're sitting on $100 of gold instead of $200 of gold, or you're sitting on $3,000 of gold instead of $200 of gold. So it's no different than any other store of wealth. As it goes up and down, so does your investment, right? But you have to look at the long game and performance. What other place can you put your money that in a matter of, you know, 10, 15 years, it goes from $100 to $100,000? There's not a 401k on the planet doing that.
Exactly. And
You know, Sam, the interesting thing about Arizona too is that Katie Hobbs had to sign that.
Oh, you mean the one who really didn't win the election? That one? Yeah. That Katie Hobbs?
Yeah, we know she's corrupt. Yeah.
So buy it on TikTok.
Buy a TikTok shop, yeah.
Yeah. Good point, Dave. Good point. Speaking of criminals, let's talk about Letitia James. Talking about she's been served with a grand jury subpoena. I mean, talk about a boomerang. Wow. What do you make of that, James?
Guilty as well. She hasn't been really charged yet, but yeah, it's. I don't know. We're wasting so much time and money on somebody that's just a thug. I don't even know why we're wasting the time. Why don't they just cuff her and stuff her and get it over with?
Cuff her and stuff her. Like that. Good. Dave, what do you think?
No, I agree. It's amazing on how the stuff that was blamed on Trump they were actually doing, and on good reason. Maybe they know how to blame it then because they've already done the steps, right?
Right. Alex, what are your perspectives on this?
Man, truth is stranger than fiction, and isn't it really just coincidental that every single news article, headline, accusation made against our current commander-in-chief just happens to be a mirror image of all the shit they've been pulling for 20 years.
You know, it's that old.
That goes for anybody. That even goes for people like in your family that do that, or friend groups that do that. Like it's a projection.
Right.
Narcissism and corruption at its best.
And
yeah,
what's
they project it onto you and make it seem like you're doing it.
You know, it's that old phrase that every time you point a finger at me, there's three more pointing back at you. And now we're starting to see it play out at a level. What's Alex? Yeah, but I mean, it's really true. It's a very pertinent phrase to be used because this boomerang effect, I believe, is going to be highlighted significantly over the next few weeks, few months, and probably few years. I hope it doesn't take that long, but it may, you know. But we are making, you know, people get upset about major events not taking place fast enough. And I get that. But I think, you know, there's a guy named Mike King who I follow. He has realnewsandhistory.com. The guy is very sharp. And he talks about we're getting a lot of first downs. We're not seeing the Hail Mary pass. We're not seeing these huge exposures, but we're getting constant first downs all the time. And I think when you compile all of those together, we are so far ahead of this curve now. I personally would like to see some Hail Marys, but at the very least, we know we're gaining yardage with those first downs, in my opinion. What do you think, Lee?
Anytime that something is in the news and they're projecting something, I would totally look at all of the pieces. Just like with the Rodney Hitman, there was another person in the car with him. It wasn't even him, but they're blaming him for it, just like they blame everything on Trump. You know, so look at all the pieces. Don't just like hold on to one and then run with it.
Right.
Just like Keisha James.
Right.
Look into your language. Look into the background of what they're talking about.
Exactly.
Not just
Benji 1959 said it's part of the show. Very true, Benji. Very true, in my opinion. All right, so let's move over to what do we have here? Oh, President Trump signing an executive order. Now, this is huge. I mean, I've got a gentleman by the name of Brian who he's a Vietnam veteran. He has created a documentary. It's in post-production now. He's going to be coming on the show. The only reason he hasn't come on yet is because he's getting his website and his social media set up. And I said, well, let's wait until you have it set up so that when you do come on, you can, point people in the right direction. Oh, that nice, cute little hearts saying hello to each other. But this next story is about veterans and President Trump signing an executive order calling for an establishment of a national center for homeless veterans with redirected funds previously spent on services for illegal aliens. Finally, some sanity. Alex, give me your thoughts.
Hey, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. How?
Yeah, I mean, it's about time. Look, when you're spending money, I got to be careful. When you're spending money in places on particular experiments in other countries that make absolutely no sense. We're one of the richest nations in the world. Why are those that have and many paid the ultimate sacrifice have laid down their way of life to serve our country and our Constitution, be left sitting on a park bench or place to sleep? Like, that's just not okay.
It's unacceptable. Unacceptable.
100% unacceptable. And the sooner that we address that problem, I think the better we are for it.
Right. And James, you being former military, what's your perspective?
Well, it's definitely an admirable thing. But you're talking about West Los Angeles. There are between 1,000 and 3,000 homeless vets that are already utilizing the facility with a target of about 6,000. So it's to my understanding that these facilities are going to go up all across the country, not just in West Los Angeles.
Right. No, I'm sure they will be. I can't imagine him leaving anybody out.
It's a big movement, and why it's taken this many years to get something like that organized. It's to focus more money on it. That should touch everybody right here in the heart.
100%, I agree. Yeah, absolutely. Festus over here said that the moderators are doing a great job today. Thank you. Yes, they are. Lisa Maria, you're a superstar. Thank you. All right. So, you know what? Let's do the sponsor break now, if you guys don't mind. So, first of all, as most of you know, Mike Lindell has sponsored me from the beginning. He is an American first, and he's a good man. He has a good company that produces American-made products, MyPillow. Now, Mike is doing a special right now. He's got his Giza sheets, which is his, flagship brand. You can get any size, any color for $49.98. And I saw last week that several of you bought some of those. I think it's a great deal. You're supporting Mike, you're supporting MyPillow, and you're supporting this channel. So go to mypillow.com and use the discount code SAM, and you'll get those sheets at $49.98. Second of all, we have Neil Naturopathic. Dr. Julian Neal has been on this show before. He is a naturopath doctor. He is a stalwart when it comes to health and wellness. He has produced the only non-toxic, chemical-free hair care products that I'm aware of called Neil Naturopathic. If you go to neilnaturopathic.com and enter in the discount code SAM20, that's SAM20, you'll get 20% off of your entire order. In fact, will somebody put neilnaturopathic.com in the chat for me? And then lastly, we have Dr. Peter Glidden. He is a naturopathic doctor, has been in clinical practice for 35 years. If you go to samshalhoub.com, there's 2 buttons for him. One that will take you to his website where you can ask any question you have on health and wellness. The second button will take you to buy his new book, which if you use the code SAM, you'll get a 10% discount. And then we obviously cannot leave out cyber security. So Alex, will you tell us a little bit about RiskTool?
If you own a company or you work for a company that is not embracing a learning management system to train your staff on the pitfalls of cybersecurity, you are door to potentially millions of dollars of loss. RiskTool Technologies has a learning management platform to train your staff. Literally, we can set up a year's worth of training for your staff in less than 20 minutes. For the month of May, if you reach out to RiskTool Technologies and you are the referrer of business to us, we will kick back the first month of the contract.
Thank you, Alex. Hey, Susie Kabluzzi's here. Hey, Susie. Oh, and Golfer Kath, my sister, is here. I would appreciate any prayers and good thoughts for her. She's in the hospital right now. She's doing well, but any thoughts that you can send to Golfer Kath, that would be wonderful. And she says she loves Mike and the Lindell. Yeah, we all do. We all do. All righty. So let's see here. Let's move on. We have. Oh, okay. This is a good one. Did you guys get the video I sent you today about the India Pakistan? That just cracked me up. Alex, is there any way for you to pull that up and show everybody? It just made me laugh so hard. I had to send it to you guys. Anyway, you can't.
Just let me see.
If you can't, that's fine. But, President Trump came out over the weekend and talked about the peace between India and Pakistan. And, I was making light of it in this gift that I sent to people on the panel here this morning. But, it's time. Sometimes we just got to laugh. Yeah, we have got to. I have to disconnect from the constant grind of narratives and just laugh. Now, Alex is going to try and bring it up because it just cracked me up. And for some reason, it tickled my funny bone, and I shared it with everybody. But if he can pull that up, he will. But this whole thing with India and Pakistan producing peace, James, give your thoughts on it, would you?
Well, we just talked about Friday, India shooting down Palestinian AWAC or Pakistani AWACS, F-16s and a JF-17, and then they turn around and start launching missiles back and drones back. So, anytime you can get to a peace agreement, it's a good thing.
Yeah, 100%. I agree, Dave.
And President Trump does not like war. He wants to end it. So that's all positive. It sounds like Ukraine and Russia's getting pointed in a direction. It's trying to find a happy medium for everybody.
Right, exactly. Alex, what are your thoughts?
The sooner it's over, the better for everybody.
100%. Same with Russia and Ukraine.
And peace through strength. How many times has the dude got to say it?
Absolutely, I agree. Lee?
I have no comment.
Adam?
Really. My thoughts are on the suspension of habeas corpus. It's kind of what I thought maybe we would go over today, but I'm concerned about that.
Well, I know. I saw some of your posts about that. So I think that there may be more to that than meets the eye. If you look at the Insurrection Act in particular, and you look at the bullet points that have to be accomplished in order for the Insurrection Act to in order for it to take place, everything that it says that you have to do to signal the Insurrection Act, President Trump did in 2021. So if that's the case, is it possible that habeas corpus has already been suspended? Is it possible that they're already moving in that direction and now just rolling it out to the public? Now, a lot of us follow that other board, and I think that you can make an argument that that's already happened. And if it has already happened, I have enough faith and trust in the universe and Trump and team that they are doing it according to the letter of the law. Now, one of the ways the only way that could happen is if you're in a state of war. Well, we've technically been in a state of war since the first Bush administration. So with those being in place, it's not a far leap to say, well, maybe in an active invasion, hey, we hit our goal. But having in an active invasion, habeas corpus should be suspended. So that's just my take on it. But anybody want to join in on that? James, Adam, Dave?
It should be. Are you saying that it should be?
It could be.
Oh, could be.
Could be.
I think that might be what, and with it being possibly done, that's why maybe we're seeing the addressing of these judges.
Here it is, you guys, real quick. Me enjoying the no scam calls because India and Pakistan are at war and don't have time. I don't know what it was about that. It just cracked me up, and I wanted everybody to see it. Alex, the tech guy, comes through once again. Anyway, go ahead, Adam. Sorry about that.
I was a little worried.
Yeah.
No, they're trying to contact you about your car warranty.
Yeah, exactly.
Could it possibly be suspended? Yes. Do we know? Well, we'll have to do some digging on that.
Well, it's speculation at this point.
Right, it is speculative, and the fact that there's been any kind of kinetic type activity has really been held out of the media, which has actually been a good thing. And I think they are trying to do everything by the letter of the law. I mean, you look at just this weekend off of Trump alone. I mean, look at this. This is just the weekend. Yeah, he said the big announcement was the prescription drugs, but look at, you got trade deal with China, you got India and Pakistan, you got, what else you got there? Secured hostage. This is just the weekend with Trump.
Right.
What is he doing? He's trying to reset everything back to where, again, it's back in our hands as the people. So,
Right.
I don't think that they have the authority. They, meaning the branches, don't have the authority to do that. But then on the other side, they can't take our inalienable rights from us. Like nothing can ever squash that.
Well,
Look at the timing that this narrative is coming to the surface about habeas corpus, right? And the fear mongering that's going on around it, because it supports the narrative that he's a dictator. But if we look at executive orders, like you have brought up, and we look at the reality of what is really going on versus what the perception they're projecting to us is, it's not going to be used in a manner of dictatorial powers. It's going to be used in the efforts to finish draining the swamp,
and protecting our rights, not take away.
If we look at the War Powers Act and Rattletrap 1776 and his narrative of looking at tradition and the optics of what has transpired and what he claims is going on, then that habeas corpus fits right into the narrative. Already being suspended, looking at the ability to come in and clean up when we have the summer of 2020 Love Fest, peaceful revolution.
Oh, you mean the peaceful protests, mostly peaceful protests? Yeah.
So, that's the direction I really see it being enforced. But if you're a scared dog, you're gonna put out a totally different narrative, like the dictator's coming to take our away.
Well,
I knew that was coming, Dave. I knew it.
Alex, it's just like the exchange between Patel and the Congresswoman, because all of a sudden now she's sitting here afraid that the FBI is being weaponized. Wait a second here. What happened in the previous administration? And now it's like, nope, I'm sitting here not going to let words be put in his mouth, like Cash said. And
it's my belief, Adam, that what we're seeing here is a replay of what's already taken place, rolled out in a way that people can assimilate it. Because if you came out with half of this stuff and just blurted it on the public, they first of all wouldn't assimilate it. Secondly, they would probably freak out, and it might be a civil war. Exactly what Dave has up there. 100%. Yeah, I agree. 100%. All right. Yeah, there we go. Exactly. Good job, Alex. All right, so let's move on. This next story I find very, very interesting. We have Congressman Tim Moore comes out over the weekend and does a video on the tunnels, or what did he call them? Passageways underneath Congress in the Capitol building. Now, as we just said, are we replaying things now for people that have already been dealt with? What about deep underground military bases? What about the human trafficking that's taking place, the 13818, like Lee said, or the 13848? I mean, these are big, big deals. Lee, what are your thoughts?
I think you're right. It's playing out as it should, because a lot of people are still not awake. So it has to still drip out a little bit and then maybe change it or reframe the narrative so that people will get it. But I agree.
Yeah, 100%. Benji 1959 said, if you know, you know. It's very true. Alex?
There have been tunnels, underground networks for hundreds of years underneath cities. It's not a new concept. Kansas City has an underground network of tunnels that connect buildings. Indianapolis, Seattle, Dallas, Los Angeles,
Denver Airport.
The Prohibition tunnels in LA, right? Like, this is nothing new. It's I think becoming more common, and the narrative, right? What's the narrative? Like, we've got to get people thinking about the possibility of these things. So in disclosure, we're gonna slowly bring you up to, there's underground cities. Bullshit, there's not underground cities. Wait a minute. Holy crap, there's underground networks of tunnels under cities. Like, let's just be patient.
Right. And, I just saw a documentary, well, not a documentary, a video of some of these tunnels in the Pacific Palisades here in California. Is that possible that they were targeted for a specific reason, that maybe it wasn't the nefarious people targeting those things, and maybe it was the patriots targeting those areas to expose and to deal with those tunnels underneath the Pacific Palisades? I don't know. I don't have any sauce or any receipts. I'm just saying it's time. We have to think outside of the box. We have to look at things differently. Or I should say, we have the opportunity to look at things differently. Whether someone chooses to or not, that's up to their sovereign right. But I think it's important. James, what do you think?
Well, it's no real secret that there's tunnels throughout the entire country. It's what they were
It's
used
around
for.
the world.
What they're trying to point out is what they were actually used for.
Right.
Nashville. I watched the deal last week about Nashville and the secret tunnels that go from there and bar to bar to bar. Somebody leaves from one bar and pops up 2 blocks over to another bar. It's crazy. But
Wow.
What were they really used for at the White House? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, exactly. Adam?
It's you look at the tunnels, and let's talk about the Pacific Palisades for a second here. I think that was more or less letting the deep state expose themselves. I think the Patriots said, fine, you're going to do this. You guys are going to open up your own can of worms. I don't think it was necessarily something the Patriots went and did, because it's kind of like the art of Kung Fu. If somebody's already destroying themselves, let them do it.
Yeah, Scratch 65 said pedestrian tunnels are open to the public. Tim Shaw said, I'm more interested in the talks of a multi-trillion-dollar underground city for elites. Well, how do you introduce that to the public? You have to start drip, 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 flood. And I think this gentleman, what was his name again? It was Congressman Tim Moore. Him doing this and getting the kind of exposure that he's getting, I mean, it's got millions of views on that video so far. I think that's leading us down a road where, Alex?
No, I'm just adjusting myself in the chair. Sorry, sir.
Oh, okay.
But it's the same way as that lady on Tucker.
Yeah, Catherine Austin Fitz. In fact,
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, she just came on TikTok, and I reached out to her. She did respond to me and asked me to send her an email, which I did. I just got an email this morning saying, sorry, our schedule's full for the year, but we'll keep you in mind. So But yeah, how many millions of views did her and Tucker get? And I think she was on Alex Jones at some point too. But again, how do you introduce a narrative to people that have no idea what has been going on? That's a perfect way to do it. What's that?
But I say, just say it. You know, I'm sick of these, oh, we need to, you know, tippy-toe around certain people because they may not be able to digest that. Then they don't.
You mean
know, like,
rip the Band-Aid off?
Yes. Disclosing, just do it. Say
I know.
It, you know, address the elephant in the room.
No, I get it.
All the earthquakes that all of a sudden they're happening in these weird places, and they all happen to be under a certain magnitude. They haven't had earthquakes. I don't know. Salt Lake had an earthquake a couple of times, and it's like, all right, we've got them out here in Magna, which Magna, there's no fault line running.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I get it, Lee. There's a lot of us that would like to have that Band-Aid ripped off. But again, I don't think the Patriots, in my opinion, are not willing to sacrifice human life to speed up the process. I think that if we had moved too quickly and too deliberately, there would have been loss of life at a rate that was unacceptable. And I think that this process, this slow rise in the temperature, is primarily to keep this country from splitting apart. Now, I think now we're at probably 75% that are supporting President Trump if the numbers were accurate. But that's just my opinion. Alex, what do you think?
If let's go back 10 years. If 10 years ago, somebody would have came to you and said, they're going to manufacture this gain of function scenario, and the entire world is going to shut businesses down, and people are going to wear masks, and that happened in 2020. You'd have been like, what? Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Like, are you serious? No, that doesn't happen in America. You can't shut all of America down. You can't. And then it happens, right? So what happened is you had this left-right paradigm of this is real, be scared, and okay, critical thinkers like us on the panel and those that enjoy our show that are like, okay, wait a minute. So what solidified that for me was my brother who died with lung cancer that metastasized to brain cancer. On his death certificate, and I'll pull it out and show you, there's only one cause of death, and it's not cancer. So is it that crazy for us to bring things out slowly so that people can start to critical think? We're all critical thinkers, and yeah, we want it yesterday. We're all out of conspiracy theories. I have no more conspiracy theories to try to justify, because with the speed of citizen journalists that are able to peruse the web and figure out that a fighter pilot in Ukraine that's an ace was actually a video game in hours, instead of the old paradigm where they could put an article out and it would take years and years for that truth to come out. So if we shock the people with the truth, what does that do to the fight or flight response inside of them? I think we have to slowly bring the temperature up. Yes, those of us that are awake are like, I want it yesterday, let's go. But those that are not awake, that get up in the morning and may never wake up. You tell them the sky's blue and they walk outside and say, no, it's not, it's purple. Like, we just have to be patient. It's a comment in our show. We got to be patient.
And Lee, you are not alone. Tim Shaw said, I agree with Lee. Mama Bear said, yes, with exclamation points. I agree with Lee. We have Susie Kabluzzi. I'm with Lee. Rosie, I couldn't agree more, Lee. So you're not alone. That's for sure. And I get it.
Because you talk about, people dying or whatever, but think about the people that died in Kentucky when the big storm came through. Like, why, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're still having death. So at this point, just run the play. It's not our job to wake anybody up at this point, this far in the game. So the people that I call sleepers, or the ones that are NPCs, or the ones that are so indoctrinated and very comfortable in their bubble, like, not my problem at this point,
Right.
So
No, I
hear
get.
what you're saying, but there's still a lot of, you know.
I agree. Now, and then let's not forget that we have FORPOG. Do you guys know what FORPOG is? The Fourth Psychological Operations Group. And I believe that they are behind the scenes and not manipulating, guiding this process. And they're probably some of the smartest people on earth. So I would tend to defer to I mean, I get it, Lee. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying I kind of understand that maybe there's more behind this that we just don't get. Alex, I'm sorry for interrupting you there.
Oh, no, I interrupted you. I don't disagree with Lee. Yes, we'd all love to be like, hit the freaking button. Let's go. Like, let's just.
Let's run it. Run the play.
And I'm not disagreeing with you. That would be great. But I think the ability for the human psyche to digest what we have all been digesting for years in a matter of days is not a thing.
Yeah, they're going to be shook.
Yeah, Mama Bear said, I'm living with a man that is slowly being woken up. I'm the one that's fully awake. And then Wendy J said, if the people that are not awake now, they'll never be awake. Trailblazer said 4 to 6% will be lost forever. And Daddy D said, let's just rip it. So I get it. I mean, we're all, I think we're just in a process that, you know, I believe we're moving in the right direction. I think we see a lot of signs of that in many different areas. But again, I would agree, Lee. I'd like to see it move along a little faster myself, but I guess this is what I don't know. It sounded like a pew shot. Yeah, exactly.
It's a really loud rain bird.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so next up, Doge announced deactivation of 500,000 federal credit cards. 500,000 federal credit cards. How can anybody on the left be against that? Dave, what do you think?
Well, it's the amount of money that they're saving. I think is what we're barely seeing very much of it on the surface. I think what they're going to come out and say, look at the money we're saving. I mean, so let's take $2,000 a credit card. You know,
right.
If it's a free for all, they're spending it like it's going out of style. So,
right.
Exciting news to hear for sure.
Yep. Alex?
More disclosure, more focus on how effed up things really are, where money is going. Again, if we build a narrative slowly that okay, money's going here, money's going there, money's going here, money's going there, and people start going, well, wait a minute, like that all adds up to a lot of money versus a headline that this massive amount was gone. People be like, yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on. This is the one that James brought up earlier. This is about a luxury Boeing 747-8 jumbo jet possibly being gifted from Qatar to the Trump administration. Now, I find it interesting. We have Boeing in the narrative for the last several years. We have plane comms off the charts. We have now Boeing is 12 years behind in that's a good one, James. I like that. But Boeing is supposedly 12 years behind. There has got to be more going on with all of this than meets the eye. James, what are your thoughts?
That's the pimped out version, Sam.
Yeah, it looks like it, exactly.
So it's interesting to know about Air Force One and its histories. The two that we have now are 747-200, and they're called VC-25As. V stands for VIP, C stands for cargo. They were put in service in 1990. And the two that we've been waiting on were supposed to be done in production in 2024, and they're not scheduled to come out until the first one in 2027, the second one in 2028. And they're saying that there are problems with wiring design issues and corrosion stress cracks. So, you know, to get a gift for Qatar to come along and say, hey, we're going to give the United States a $400 million gift, that's pretty big. And, you know, what's behind that? What are they trying to coerce us into with that particular gift? It's the most expensive gift we've ever been given in
Right,
the country.
right. Alex, do you think there's more to this than meets the eye?
Truth is stranger than fiction. I think there's something more to it. And like James said, if you look at a 40-year-old aircraft and the technology that's on it in comparison to what's available today, the 747-8, it's like driving a Model A with a single barrel carbureted 4-cylinder, or driving a $3 million Bugatti Veyron that does 300 miles an hour. It's night and day. Our banking system is antiquated. Our treasury and IRS systems are antiquated. Our air traffic control is antiquated. I think it's just another piece of the pie that's being served the American people, saying, dude, this pie is old and rotten. It's time to bake a new one.
Right, and I think that's a very good example. If you look at the aircraft that we are using today, there's been no major changes in the last 50 years. Why is that? You're going to tell me that for the last 50 years, the innovation just stopped? No, it was suppressed, in my opinion. Is this partly why they're bringing this up, to kind of outline to people, hey, something's not right here. There's something fishy in Denmark. I don't know. Lee, what do you think?
I don't know. I just ran the numbers on it. It says the 747-8 plane, which ended up coming to 26, which is an 8, and we know that like Trump's name is 888. Sorry, it's numerology for me anytime I see a number, but yeah, I mean, honestly, like they do need to do something with our planes and fix them and maybe upgrade them or update them. You
Right.
know, like Spirit has a bad name too.
Yeah. You know, Alex, there was a point, what was the name of that, where they've suppressed new technology? There was a name that they put, it was a, something where it was over 6,000 patents that they've suppressed. Anybody remember the name of that government act? But essentially what it was, somebody will find it, but there's over 6,000 patents that have been suppressed over the last 30 years, 40, 50 years by the government. Whether it was energy or aircraft or whoever, who knows what it was, but those.
I can't find the act, but that was over 5,000, and include everything from pharmaceuticals, medical technology,
Right.
0-point energy, all kinds of stuff. It's been suppressed. I don't.
As of 2017, according to statistics reported by the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, published by the Federation of American Scientists, there were 5,784 patents that you cannot see. The U.S. government cache of inventions under secret orders. Why? And it continues. So there's your number. Invention secrecy dates back to the 1930s.
Yeah. So the Invention Secrecy Act.
What did you say? It was 584?
5,784.
Okay. Sorry, I was going to say 584 comes to 17. So.
Oh,
Well,
I like where your head is, Lee.
I know where she's going.
Math.
I'm thinking back to the capitulation tour, and they're looking at the Supreme Leader going, he can't travel anything less than what we travel in. That's how I'm kind of seeing this.
Could be. All right, well, let's move on here. Lastly, today we have President Trump. So I was at a family get together yesterday, so I wasn't able to keep up on. Oh, and I did come in third place in the family poker tournament, by the way, just so you know. But Alex was keeping me abreast of because President Trump had said he was going to come out with the most incredible truth. And, so Alex and I were kind of like, hey, I wonder what it's going to be, and he did come out with something, and it was significant. And he talked about prescription drug prices being reduced 30 to 80%. Now, I don't think you can do that unless you control the pharmaceutical companies, or at least a great portion of them. And I think that's exactly what he's communicating here. What do you think, Alex?
Let's go. I don't know if any of you watched his press conference this morning. He gave an example. A pill that he paid for in New York was $1,300, but the same pill in the UK was $80. and having the conversations with the pharmaceutical company, he's like, why is that? And after, a half hour going back and forth, they're like, well, it's research and development costs, and it's this and it's that. And Trump's like, that doesn't make any sense. Why? It doesn't. You've not given me anything that says why you're charging them $80 and you're charging us $1,300 over here. There are. RFK Jr. said there's one pharmaceutical, and in most cases, 3 pharmaceutical lobbyists for every single elected representative in this country. It's the largest by 3 times. It's the largest lobbying group, 3 times over the next closest lobby, which means they are pouring untold vast amounts of money towards lobbying to get what they want, to get their drugs passed, to get their money here, to get it's freaking lunacy. It's insane. There's no reason that they should be paying $80. Maybe that's what it should actually cost, but it was legitimate. The UK is like, yeah, we're not paying that. We'll pay $80. And the pharmaceutical said, oh, okay, we'll pay $80. It's just another slow drip example of how effed up things are.
Well,
let's pick it apart and fix it.
right. And to that point, in 1992, Congress passed something called the User Fee Act. And what that meant, what that detailed was the pharmaceutical industry was bitching at the government saying, hey, you're not approving our drugs fast enough. So in Congress, in all their wisdom, decided in 1992 to pass the User Fee Act. And what that meant was that the pharmaceutical industry could prepay in advance $10,000 to pre-test their drugs. Well, that was the beginning of the end for the rise of the pharmaceutical industry. Fast forward to today, and you have over 50% of the Food and Drug Administration's payroll is paid for by the pharmaceutical industry. It's a classic example of the wolf watching the hen house, and it's got to stop.
But here's the thing on that, Sam. It's actually the PDUFA, and it has to be reauthorized every 5 years. So no wonder there's so many lobbyists pouring money into the politicians' pockets to get it reauthorized every year. Like, we've got to fix the system. It's so broken.
And that actually leads into a whole nother portion of it. So 25 years ago, there were over 300,000 representatives for the pharmaceutical industry that would call on medical doctors in the United States. That number has gone from 300,000 to 20,000 in the last 25 years. The pharmaceutical industry knew that they were losing their long-term generational control over the population. So what did they do? Now, 80% of all medical doctors in America incorporate some form of holistic medicine. Then you have the WHO trying to take over vitamins and supplements so that you would need a prescription in order to be able to get them. They've been trying to do that for 25 years, and they've been unsuccessful. Now you enter President Trump coming in and taking control of the situation, dropping prices by 30 to 80%, tells me that the Patriots are in firm control over that.
Well, and the United States is 43rd on the length of living in the whole world. 43rd on the list, and we're supposed to have all these top-notch, best medication.
Yeah,
best
and our infant mortality rate is down the crapper. I don't know how else to say it. We spend more in America on pharmaceutical industry than the entire world combined. Yet where our life expectancy is low, our infant mortality rate is high.
So is it a good thing or a bad thing?
Right, exactly.
Right, yeah.
Exactly. No, absolutely, you were right.
47's got a big pair of boots on.
Yeah.
He's getting ready to take the dog and pony show out of the fairgrounds.
And he's got some stones on top of it.
What's Alex showing there?
What are you showing, Alex?
Death certificate. And the cause of death says what?
Oh, yeah.
Right? That's the only thing on this piece of paper that it says. So if that's not evidence enough to you that hospitals and doctors and people are getting paid to write things on pieces of paper so that they can collect the cash, wake up.
Exactly.
Hey, Alex, that by putting that on that, it was 30 to 40 grand for that hospital.
Yep.
$39,000.
Yep. Lee, what were you going to say?
I said, keep that. That's a certificate. We're millions.
Excellent.
I would love for you to help me cash that in so that I can give it to his children that deserve it.
And you would set up a trust to do so.
I
Yep.
have the trust already.
Lisa Maria said Trump is a king badass. I agree, Lisa Maria. We're buckling up, man. All right, everybody. So we just broke 100,000 likes. Wow. Incredible. Thank you, everybody. So that means one thing, Alex. Are we ready?
I was born ready.
You were born ready. Good. I love it. All right, everybody. We are doing some dancing today. And I want everybody at home. Huh?
Got to go ahead, sir. Prepare yourself.
No, I'm just telling everybody at home, stand up. You're going to be dancing with us as well. And I just knocked over some of my lighting. All right, there we go. We're just waiting for Alex to cue up the music. Oh, he's got his glasses on too. He's ready to rock. I love it.
Not only do I have glasses on, but the flag's waving.
Oh, yeah, that is cool. That's a nice effect.
Right. Thank you, TikTok and TikTok Shop.
All right, so let's see some dance emojis in the chat. I want everybody at home standing up and dancing. And, of course, our panelists. Let's get it on. Exactly.
The pause is for effect, ladies and gentlemen.
Is that what it is?
And drum roll, please.
Yeah,
We
he's
Alex, there needs to be like a remix, like a.
exactly.
Hold on.
Oh, geez, here we go.
Oh my god.
No, I don't like that one. Hold on. Next.
There we go. There we go. Come on, everybody. Everybody at home, start dancing. Let's go. Oh, jeez. Alex, what happened to you? Oh, my gosh. We were almost there, guys.
Was that in Pakistani?
Yeah, I think it was. I think it was the guy that was on that meme that I sent you guys.
It was, yeah.
All right, here we go.
That was influenced by the Democrats.
Come on, everybody. I want to see those dancing emojis in the chat. There we go. Let's go, everybody at home. Dance. Stand up. Dance. Let's see it in the chat. There we go. Great way to start off a Monday morning or afternoon, depending upon where you're at. Yeah. There we go. All right, everybody, keep dancing. Let's see it in the chat. There we go. Good job, everybody. All right. We got our exercise for the day. Thank you, Alex. All right. Oh, look at all the chat. Look at all the dancing in the chat. I love it. All right. So let's move to final thoughts. James, you want to lead us off?
I will. So over the weekend, I had a little bit of a birthday celebration, and I do want to still
Happy 85th, by the way.
thank you. So
I have that knife. That's bad. That's bad.
my new culinary tool for the kitchen.
Nice.
Nice.
That was
A
nice.
buddy of mine, and it's being in it's Monday, in all the brainstorming, bush light that I got to consume, I came up with an ingenious idea for the USS Harry Truman, and this is what we should incorporate on all aircraft carriers.
So true. So true.
Yeah.
We're losing them left and right. I know.
Cheap insurance.
Well, happy belated birthday, James.
Well, thank you. It was fun. I got a great dinner in. It was nice and relaxing. A little windy yesterday, but it was nice. It was a good thing. We finished planting on Friday, so everything's on the up and up now. It's nothing but fishing going forward.
Excellent. Excellent. Adam?
All right, as we all know, the first 10 amendments of the Bill of Rights, so I've been kind of picking and choosing from the ones after. The 19th Amendment, the right of citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of sex. Congress shall have power to enforce this article by appropriate legislation.
Thank you, Adam. Lee?
This is for the ladies. If you're on TikTok, obviously you are if you're here, but I encourage you guys to go look up Yellowstone National Park. You're welcome.
That's it? There you go. Thank you, Lee. It's an inside joke, I guess, with the ladies.
Yes, it is.
Dave?
Thanks for being here, everybody. I appreciate you having us, coming into our live. Trump's on his way to Saudi Arabia, so we'll see what kind of news that brings out.
Exactly.
Some excitement over there. So
I think you're right. Alex?
Make America great again.
I hope everybody had a wonderful weekend, celebrating their moms. Time is short. It's the only thing we can't create more of. So spend it wisely, ladies and gentlemen.
100% I agree. Yeah, and everybody at home, we wouldn't be able to do this without you. Lee, Adam, James, Dave, and of course, Alex. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being consistent every day. It just means the world to me, and I know it means a lot to the people at home. And like I said, if it wasn't for you guys at home, none of this would be possible. So keep in mind, remember, the best is yet to come. So everybody have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Get those dancing shoes on. Thank you, everybody. Oh, Alex is mixing it up tonight. Good today. Good job, Alex. All right, everybody. Have a great day.